Wait, go.
Why are we doing this is the big question. Before we can get all can't get the little pieces till we get the big picture. The big picture is, why are we doing this display? And who is our target group? Who are we wanting to reach? The why and the who. And then I can go from how after that.
So we want to answer that question now.
I have to refer the why to you guys, because you started it.
We want Eric to step in. Eric, we'll put you on the spot.
Well, the Glenwood Project, ultimately, the Glenwood Project, in sum, is a way to engage the public with the history of Charleston, and in particular, and the history of the region more generally. The Glenwood House is really the space that we're beginning with, and looking at the intersections of people's lives, the intersections of different histories within that space. It's a complicated space, and I think the purpose of the overall project is to get at least a summary understanding of that, or at least what we're trying to project, a summary understanding of that intersection. And really, this should be a window into the history of Charleston and the history of the region, although looking at the house as a window into that. I think in terms of the audience, our audience is broad, but I think it's not necessarily a scholarly audience, and it's not necessarily, although that's part of it, and it's not necessarily a complete general audience, public audience. I think it's somewhere in between, because we want to bring some scholarly knowledge, what we've learned as a group, to bear on the project. I think our audience really it seems to me, are people that are interested in the history of Charleston and the region. I don't know if you're not interested in that, whether you're a scholar or someone interested in local history, or a citizen of Charleston. If you're not interested in history to begin with, it's going to be hard for you to engage in this. We can't make you be interested in history through one exhibit. That's just not going to happen. However, I think we can inform people that have that interest. It's certainly not meant to be a completely holistic or a totalizing exhibit that gives the whole picture, only a part of that picture. I think that story is really complex, and I think it's incumbent upon us, or the group, or you, to try to tell that story that balances the complexities of the place in the region and in this site, Charleston, with accessibility, and so others can access that history. Does that answer your question?
No, I just want a one sentence.
Oh, one sentence.
I'm an academic.
What I'm saying is that's what he's saying. We're wanting one. First of all, we got to start. You said it the other day. We got to have a title that's going to punctuate this thing. What is it? Is it Glenwood, Canal Valley in transition?
More like the west side in transition. Because when I first got on board, you guys were saying how you wanted this, your focus on the touring part was as much west side as possible. Did I get that right?
Yeah, I think you're right on that. Yeah.
Okay, so that helps. Someone said earlier to help build pride. Yeah, no, you're wrong. No. But the idea of building pride in a section of the city, this probably could answer a lot of questions just about that haunted house across the street, kind of, dispelling that kind of myth without wanting it to get broken into.
But also there's an important story of complexity to tell too, to give people a complex history, to relay a complex history of Charleston's west side and by extension Charleston and the region.
Define complex for me. What do you call what's
complex, multidimensional? That there aren't. For example, I think this isn't just about a single house. This is also about, Glenwood, just that one panel, Glenwood in a state in transition. That transition sort of implies complexity, that you're moving from one place to another. And you don't move from one place to another in a straight line often. That these things call up a number of different histories from individuals, from groups of people. The next panel, the intersection of slavery and the people who own the home. Both of those have these are the families, the history of the families that own this house over time is complex. The people that are building and working at this house, their histories are also complex. So that's what I mean by, I guess, complexity is that it's multidimensional. It's not just one-dimensional, not one-sided. There are
a whole multitude of stories that exist within that larger.
That's a good sentence. That's much.
Well,
that's
that, I mean, the reason
better
I,
said what he said.
I wasn't, the reason I'm asking is, I'm a communicator. And I want to I mean, what I like to do is I like to take that big picture, all those multiple things, and just keep weeding it down until we get to the point to, here's what we're wanting to drive home, and then go for that. You know
Well,
what
the
I'm saying?
danger of that, though, is if you boil it down to if you deduce it down to one single thing, you run the danger of taking away the complexity. And that's the real challenge, is you have to find a balance between those two.
Well, right. No, I wasn't saying boiling it down, but I'm saying to get focused to where we can. Like our panels, I'm with the group that's the panels over on the other end here, and I just wasn't getting where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? Where my part's going to fit into this.
Yep.
That bigger picture. What is the whole thing, and where are we going to with it? Is it going to be more? The display is going to be, I'm correct though, more so at schools, middle school, high school. What's the idea with it? That's why I say the who.
Not necessarily
There'll
middle
be a
school.
traveling exhibit.
It'll be in public places.
For anybody and everywhere.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. But remember but you may be thinking, when we talked about the level of complexity of text, generally speaking.
Yeah, that's why I said, when I asked you what
level.
complex was, when you said complex.
Yeah. 8th grade level of the writing, but the message is intended for a much broader audience. The general, anybody who walks in off the street.
One problem with the layout of the panels, you have the west side extensions panel too. Is there a reason for that?
No, I think other than it was kind of a continuation on starting with the west side as a rural landscape, and then that was maintaining that theme, the west side changing.
Yeah, I took that off one of the.
If it works better another way, let's do it.
I was thinking, go ahead.
I was thinking that, the rural landscape, slavery is connected more with the rural landscape. And that extension comes in, that's the Walker extension, right?
Yeah, that's his, right.
It's
That's actually the
divided
first.
in chronological fashion, which it doesn't have to be there.
Yeah, ultimately, that's the west side changing. The west side going from that rural landscape to an area that's ripe for development, ready to be divided. And then Glenwood is sort of juxtaposed on that landscape.
Yeah, so you've really got to tell a lot in these two panels.
I think so, yeah.
It's
That's
really
what
a
I'm
lot.
organizing.
This has more than I even realized it needs to be.
Were you thinking panel 2 though fit more over here on this, like about panel, we end with like between these two here? That's what I was thinking.
So, where panel 2 is,
Yeah, repeat that?
well, 4, the slavery one would go closer to the rural landscape.
Over this
Maybe
one?
put it over to-
This one?
Slavery, next one.
This one?
No,
this
4
is-
would go over where 2 is, 2 or 3.
Let me look at the,
Well,
Yeah, we have that right beside farm production, because farm production is on panel 4 also. So
there's the original proposal. I have a couple copies of it.
Hey, you wrote that, Bob.
Yeah, that's.
That's James B. Mine.
So you can kind of look at some of what the subheadings are under this, and the number 2 panel would include Walker's vision, the Elk City incorporation and annexation, and then West Side growth, all the way up to World War II. So, yeah, I mean, that's just kind of capturing the changing West Side. I think maybe you're right there. Don't you?
okay, well,
Anybody else, feel free to chime in, guys.
I just don't think.
Take the view, if you're viewing this, what do you think?